Loitering around the city center, you could hear Max's familiar marching steps coming up from behind. Dave, can I have some of your time? There's something I need to talk to you about. Should I take the time to hang out with Max? Sure, I'm free right now. What's up? Can we discuss this somewhere more private? Oh, sir, you had somewhere in mind? Yeah, follow me. Max looked around the town square. The great furnace unleashed another bellow of heat as he directed you down a side street into a seemingly abandoned alleyway. Here's to do. This must be pretty serious if you brought us some place like this. You look into the surroundings, the buildings along the alleyway crumbling from disrepair, a certain feeling of liminality overwhelming you. Max leaned against one of the buildings, the dust and ash brushing upon his vest, arms crossed over his broad chest. It's been on my mind since this morning. He waited patiently for Max to continue, but he had only trailed off into silence. The sound of the furnace's distant hiss could be heard, making his silence all the more perturbing. Is it to do with your brother? Somewhat. It's a lot of things, but he's definitely one of the things I'm worried about right now. I'm sorry, Dave. I'm not great with actually putting my thoughts into words. Well, why don't you start from the most recent ones first? The most recent. I lost my home. I lost my brother. I got my team back together. Elisa, Alec, you. Oh. Yeah, that's a lot to take in. How do you seem so unbothered by all this time? Heh, my eyes are tuned. I'm my eyes in tune, remember? Being cool, calm, and collected is a part of that. He snorted cockily with a wide smile spread across his face. Before fading back to his worried expression. But this time it's become a little too much for me to handle on my own. He wanted to ask me, not Ray, or maybe Cody. No offense, but they knew you longer. They'd probably be able to help you better. Max shook his head, dropping his arms to his sides with a defeated sigh. I trust them with my life, Dave, but I don't think they'll understand. But for some reason, I feel like you would. His tail swung limply, brushing the dust off the wall behind him. Accepting the massive responsibility Max was willing to share with you, you steadied yourself with a deep breath. All right, let's break it down. Let's start with the recent events. What's the most pressing thing on your mind? Elisa. The Malamute wiped his eyes, leaned fully into the wall. I went to check on her in the infirmary before we left. How was she? She was still unconscious, but her condition was stable. The nurses said she'd be able to be off the life support crystals in a few days. That's a relief. I guess that means we'll have to survive too, if we want to see her again, right? Yeah, I'm sure she'll be proud to see us when we return, triumphant over the Nether Blight. Seeing us return safely would be enough for her, Max. Yes, you're right, Dave. Let's return to her safely. I'm starting to miss her quail and Kabbalah soup. You both share a comforting laugh, remembering the meal you'd share with her before. A welcome respite from the heaviness of the day's event. What made you think about your brother? Well, we'll be taking the same route that he did into the king's territory. He hasn't returned after all these years. Is the road still safe for us to travel? Will we find him, or whatever remains? He caught himself before finishing the statement, hand over his muzzle as the tears returned to his eyes. Do you have any leads as to where he disappeared? None. I asked every group that managed to return, but no one had seen anyone that matched his description. It's been a long time since then, though, so it's possible he's changed from when I saw him last. Maybe we'll have a better possibility now that we're out of the city. Someone from this city, or the next one, may have traded with him. If he were so close to home, why wouldn't he have sent for me? I doubt it would have been that easy. But thank you for being optimistic, Dave. You're welcome, Max. Did that help sort out your thoughts? For the most part, yes. I should get back to finding more information while we're here. Will you be alright on your own, Dave? I'll probably do the same. Make sure you keep an eye on the sun. Don't let time get away from you. I know, Max. Alright, don't forget where we're meeting up. See you later, Max. With that, Max left the alleyway, going back up the main road, back to the great furnace. Having the weight lifted off him, even if only a little bit, your team leader walked off with a lighter gait. You return to the map at City Hall yourself, tail propelling you while swinging your step as well. Let me go here first. Okay, this is new. Visiting the quartermaster. You navigate with some difficulty to the building marked as the quartermaster's office. This was a little bit small on that map, so if I saw that earlier, I would have gone to this first before going to Max. But anyway, you navigate with some difficulty to the building marked as the quartermaster's office. Compared to the dusty, murky exterior, the interior appeared clean and pristine, a warehouse of crates and racks filled with what you could see were uniforms and armor pieces. Several weapons sheathed in scabbards hanging from metal racks along the walls, from short swords like yours to larger and imposing two-hand melee weapons. Sat behind the counter, fortified with a sturdy-looking glass pane, was a bison. They seemed to be working with some sort of ledgers and loose paperwork. Deciding against getting his attention, you looked over the inventory. A familiar bundle of white fluff blending in the walls stood nearby, a pencil expressing beneath his furrowed brows. Excuse me, this is the quartermaster's office, right? Yes, this is my office. What do you want? Oh, nothing right now, but then you're wasting my valuable time, son. Why, sorry, I'm not from here, and I wanted to ask if you could spare any supplies. The bison's pen stopped his hunch over form, leaning back to make eye contact with you, sort of wish he hadn't. The scowl on his face seemed to have gotten stuck that way after years of holding that expression. You must be with that fuzzy mutt over there. The quartermaster gestured towards a bald white fur on the far side of the room, which you quickly recognized as Max. General Whitmore sent ahead that I'm to offer you supplies for a price. Of course, we're willing to pay for whatever we take. The bison rose from his chair, giving you a once over gesture you had uncomfortably grown accustomed to. All right, I'll sell, but only what I think you can handle. I ain't wasting all good products on you. Cheapskate. See how. That means an armor, though. Yeah. Dismissed. I'll buy something. Oh, I guess. Yeah. Do you mind if I ask you a few questions? I do, but ask anyway. I ain't gonna stop you. So, you make all the weapons and armor in here? Me? Absolutely not. I just manage the army's equipment. If you're looking to have someone custom made, if you're looking to have something custom made, you're better off asking the blacksmiths down in the furnace. Oh, is everything here made by the blacksmiths? Most, not all. Some things I do make. Some things I do make in my spare time. You make your own inventory? I did once, before the Nether Plague spread out this far. Back when the city was known for its abundant flower fields, most of us Florentines were in the apiary business. Had a few dozen hives myself back in those days. Used to sell the honey in the market and the beeswax to the blacksmiths and leather workers. And leather workers, I guess. Help treat their products against rust and moisture. Must being pretty buzzy. Force a habit. It was just business or business. The mess hall's the only place you can find any of the honey and the more. Are they the only producers left? No. After the Nether Plague and the construction of the grand furnace, the flowers never grew quite like they used to. The honey kept for a long time, so it's mostly been rationed out over the years. It's pretty high quality. You won't find anything like it anymore else, or anywhere else. Well, I can't read. Let me start again. It's pretty high quality. You won't find anything like it anywhere else. So maybe consider getting some for your friends. I see. Thanks for the tip. Yeah. Casting a look over the bison soda, you could easily tell that most of the weapons appear mass-produced, each one looking indistinguishable from each other. You ran your fingers over the pommel of your sword, recalling the crystal Elisa had embedded it in. The others also had crystals embedded in their weapons, separate from the foresight they carried on their persons. Do weapons normally not have crystals attached to them? You wondered aloud, indicating towards where you were looking. The bison didn't follow your gaze, instead stare at you as if you were daft. Art magic crystals one of the first days they teach you at that fancy academy. He raised a critical brow at you. I enrolled during a pretty unfortunate time. I never got around to it. The bison stared you down for a moment, and you half wanted to call Max over until he stopped giving you the evil eye over it. Judging by your questions, you've got a weapon with a crystal embedded in it already. I do. Hand it here. It'll be easier to show you than explain it to you. You reached for your blade, hesitating for a moment. The bison had already turned his back to grab one of the closest blades on the wax. You unsheathed the sword Elisa had entrusted you, placing it on the counter without comment to avoid seeming suspicious. Let's take a gander here. Take this broadsword, for example, denser and without any decorative markings compared to yours. He handed you the sword, which indeed felt heavier in your hands compared to Elisa's sword. These are muting blades. The density prevents them from being affected by the resonance and magic. Wait, really? You can do that? Pipe down. I take it your blacksmiths don't rely on this sort of technique. Max leaned in, joining the conversation from where he stood. The Aegis Mining Corporation provided the bulk of the magic crystals required for crystal inlays, and the Resonance Research Institute specialized in runic schematics required for each blade type. The responsibility of actually making those blades fell to the blacksmiths of the city. Master Alaric had sent shipments out to Fort Forense over the years. I'm surprised you don't carry any of them here. The bison stuck his snout up at the Malamute, butting into the conversation. The gesture was familiar to someone from the suburbs turning his nose up at someone from the city. If you know that much, then you'll recall that only aligned elemental users can make effective use of the weapons. Even the shipments from Governor Alaric weren't enough for every elemental user. We've even got a surplus for some of the less common elements. Dismissing the canine at that last comment, the quartermaster then picked up Elisa's sword, inspected the blade carefully, turning it this and that way. The furrows of his brows deepening the more he looked it over, eyes lingering on the crystal embedded in it. Fascinating. The bison's stern expression softened, the first hint of genuine emotion out of him. The steel is nothing remarkable, but this crystal engraving throughout is particular. Wait a minute. The steel is nothing remarkable, but this crystal engraving throughout is spectacular. You won't be able to cut a mollusca's cell with this, but you've got a potent magic catalyst here. This is far fancier than any spell blade I've seen. Whoever forged this blade must have been a legend in the craft. Where did you get this from, boy? It was a gift from a very special person. You must be very special to them as well to receive a gift of this caliber. Yeah, I'd like to think so too. As his fervor died down, the stern expression returned to his face, further scrutinizing the blade. He grabbed a small brown bottle of blackened cloth from beneath the counter, polishing the length of the blade. Have you been using it much, lad? The edge is starting to dull a bit, and the oil polish is starting to wear out. Yeah, it's been seeing a lot of use lately. Make sure you keep the blade honed and the oil coat fresh. Best practice to do it at night. Moist is the worst overnight. What would you suggest for maintenance then? Some oil and a honing still should do it. And how much would that be? He turned to the bottle, and his hand shaking it near to his ear before sliding it across the divider towards you. You know what? You can take what's left in this bottle free of charge. You eyed the bison cautiously. Are you sure? Sure. Consider it. Thanks for showing me that masterpiece of metallurgy. It's not every day I get to see something like that. Alright, then thanks. This is lightening up a little bit, being all stern, but I guess Dave impressed him enough that he decided to let him have something for free. How about those silencing blades? What about them? If they can dispel magic, why don't you make armor out of it? You wouldn't be the first person to wonder that, and probably not the last either. Thing is, the denser the metal, the heavier it is. We could spare the ingots to make a full-plated suit of the staff, but you'd be the most magically impervious statue of the battlefield. Isn't that a good thing? Against magic, sure. Doesn't mean you can't still get hurt from physical attacks. Oh, right. That's right. So until the brainiacs down at a smelter figure out a better method, it's just not viable as a means of defense. I bet Alex could figure it out at some point. Max whispered to you, just loud enough to annoy the bison further before returning to his window shopping. I think that's everything for now. Alright, I'll return to my work now, if you please. Max. Oh, hey Dave. What happened? You got a serious look on your face. Nothing to worry about, Dave. I'm trying to prioritize what I buy without buzzing. Ah, right. Do you need something, Dave? I'm kind of busy. That way, I was looking around and found you here. Let's see. What have you gotten so far? Aside from getting the evil eye from people on the street, not much. I noticed that too on my way here. Can't say I blame them. To be honest, word gets around quick. I wish that wasn't the case. Still, any intel on your end, Max? Not any more than what we already knew. The forensic retainers have been keeping the main roads between here and Venezia safe. But that doesn't mean we won't encounter any on our journey there, so keep your wits about you. I guess we can't expect any better than that. Don't worry, Dave, you're in good hands. We've done it before, we can do it again. Yeah. Thanks, Max. Don't miss it, Dave. Do you need something, Dave? I'm kind of busy. Looks like you're done here. We're turning to the map. When you return to the city center, the chapel's bell tower rang out, announcing the curfew. Guess our time is up. Better not go anywhere else until the others return. It didn't take long for the others to join you in front of the city hall, along with the guards meant to escort you back to the entrance. Alex was already astride his horse when you all got there, waiting impatiently for the rest of you to remount before being escorted out to the entryway. The gates open at past daybreak. You'll be allowed back in then. Now, please vacate the city perimeter. Understood. We'll be taking our leave then. Departing from the city's main gates, Ray immediately went looking for a place to set up camp. As the others joined in the effort, it didn't take long for them to find a clearing not too far away as the dragon drove a wooden stake in the ground, tying a bit red cloth As the others joined in the effort, it didn't take long for them to find a clearing not too far away as the dragon drove a wooden stake into the ground, tying a bright red cloth to the top. This is so their sentinels have a clear line of sight to your camping grounds. In case of emergencies, yep. As everyone gathered around a marked spot, tents were quickly set up in a blink of an eye. Well, that was fast. Guess this wasn't their first outing together. The others then headed off to their designated task, Cody at the fire pit preparing dinner. Alex tending to his gadgets and gizmos, Max going through everyone's equipment, Ray seemed to be gathering more firewood nearby. After Max was done sorting through inventory, he sat on a log a bit further away from the fire pit, seemingly pensive. Not longer after dinner was ready, as everyone religiously gathered around the fire pit. Aside from the change in scenery, this didn't feel too dissimilar from when you set up camp at the Akai. Most of dinner time was spent with everyone exchanging their findings during the day, as you also chimed in with what you've gathered. The forensic locals have cited suspicious activities in the nearby woods, not long after the garden crystal's fall. A dense fog was also seen towards the general direction of Venezia. That will present quite an obstacle to our journey towards Venezia. Agreed. While we don't have definite proof based on what we've seen, that fog might very well be Ashford. And if that really is the case, we may run into an unprecedented concentration of nether creatures and army along the way. We should prepare for the worst. Yeah, I'll take first century for us tonight. You sure about that, why? Yeah, why not? My sense of smell might not be as sharp as yours, but I can keep an eye out even when the fire pit burns out. Well, your night vision is the best out of all of us. Well, if there's nothing urgent, I'll be on my way. I want to do some maintenance on my gadgets, especially this early on. Good call. We'll leave it to you then, Alex. Actually, I should clean up as well. Guess everybody got their thing to take care of. Wait, hold on. What is it, Dave? Look what I got. He brandished the box of playing cards you got from the barracks. Alex's eyes widened as he saw what's within. Huh? Peculiar. Where did you get your hands on that? One of the guards gave it to me, actually. Said we should use it to play together sometimes. Right. What's so special about those? Aren't they just the usual deck you can get around the marketplace? No, Max. It's not just any deck. Take a look at the illustrations on the cards. Alex grabbed the box from your hand and took out 4 of the face cards. There were 4 figures instead of just a typical portrait, each in different shapes and colors. Wait, is that? One of them seemed to stick out to you. Elisa? Precisely. Hold on, aren't these the special ones you talked about before? Oh, those? The ones that got passed around a bunch back in the academy? Indeed, you guys remember, right? Though they were sold only for a limited amount of time. They were to commemorate the inauguration of the new summer sage. Hold on, why am I the only one not recalling any of this at all? I mean, you aren't really one to pay attention to the latest fads anyway, Mr. Straight Face. Hey, what's that supposed to mean? Nothing. Either way, in this day and age, this might as well be a cultural artifact of significance. Can I keep this, Dave? I don't know. Can you? Dave, I implore you to reconsider. Now, that's his. You probably shouldn't. But, fine, whatever. It's not like I need it anyway. Max seemed to have thought of a sleep schedule for each and everyone, despite his best intentions. However, some, including Max himself, seemed far too restless to sleep. From within your tent, you could see Max's tent still alight. Max, you poked your head into the Malamut's tent, only to be met by the shirtless canine mid sit up before laying back down and noticing you. Oh, Dave, did something happen? No, nothing, Max. Sorry for interrupting you. Hold on, are you sure? I can hear your heart beating pretty fast. He was quickly on his feet, stepping out of his tent to come after you have retreated. Dave, are you sure that everything is alright? Yes, I'm sure. Just thinking about what we talked about. Oh. I've thought long and hard about it, Dave, and I think I've reached a conclusion. And what would that be? You cross your arms over your chest, holding your ground as you maintain eye contact with the Malamute. I think you might be right about what it might be. That I may be in love with you. Well, I mean, What, really? You half cover your muzzle, embarrassed for almost letting out a yelp, though the canine only heaved a prolonged sigh, crossing his arms over his chest, eyes set. I've been mulling it over and over in my mind, thinking about you and my brother in a similar simulacrum of dangerous situations, and no matter what I imagine, there's something different about how it feels with you. Could that be that love thing? Max appeared to be more frightened than enlightened by the revelation. His eyes looked to you, pleading for some confirmation. There's no need to be so worked up about it, Max. Love shouldn't be something stressful like you are now. Let's take it slow, yeah? You don't have to give her a name, but maybe we can explore it together and see where it leads us. Like a scouting mission? I guess it's something like that. Exploring the unknown. The unknown. Basically, it's dating. Say, Dave, could you close your eyes for a moment? Huh? Why this all of a sudden, Max? I'd like to try something. Consider it part of the mission. Ah, sure, Max. You close your eyes, focusing on maintaining your stance, waiting for Max to do his thing. It surprised you to feel your balance upset by his snout bumping against yours. Your eyes snapped open as you staggered backward, regaining your footing. How was that? I hope I did that the right way. I asked Rye about it, and he had said that if I wanted to show someone I loved them, I should give them a kiss in their mouth. Well, he wasn't wrong, but usually there's a few more steps before you get to that part. Oh, sorry. I guess I will need your help to explore it some more. Don't worry too much about it, Max. I liked it. Just don't do that to just anyone on the lips like that. I'm going to have to have some words with that dragon. That won't be a problem. There's no one else I have feelings for. There was a pause, accompanied by contemplation from the canine, driving him silent once again. Something wrong, Max? I just remembered. While I was thinking it over, I thought of Toby in the same way. Toby? You see him the same way? I think so. He let out a deep sigh, rested his hand atop the tent's central support. It's still a little hard with him. I care about him, but I'm still upset about how he behaved. Is that going to be a problem for you, having him be closer than before? Yes, but it will be alright. Maybe we can include him in our mission to figure things out. If that's alright with you, Dave. Oh, Dave, Max, you're still up. Your embrace was interrupted when your dragon companion called out a short distance away. His smile was bemused and pleased, seeing both you and Max hugging it out. Aye, why, is it time already? Ray pulled out his crystal communicator, showing the display to Max. Yeah, your turn to go on watch. Alright, just give me a minute to get suited up. Thanks. Good night, Max. Better luck next time, Dave. He saw your playful wink and thumbs up before retreating fully into his tent. I guess we got that sorted out. I guess we got that sorted not a moment too soon. I'll get ready for my guard shift. You should go back to bed now, Dave. Max leaned down, giving you a kiss on the forehead. You pouted a little to yourself, disappointed but not unsatisfied. How sorry. Responding to your complaint, he lifted your chin to give you a more appropriate kiss, meeting his lips to yours, tickling them with his tongue. Good night, Dave. See you in the morning. With that, Max slid back into his tent with a hurried switch of his tail to avoid having to meet your eye. You touched your fingers to your lips. A proper kiss. The first one didn't count. Good night, Max. Filled with a smoldering warmth in your chest, you felt like you were walking on air before collapsing onto your bedroll. A comforting respite at the end of a hectic day. If only the following days could be so kind. One could only hope. To be continued. Alright, so that was Max's update. So, Max finally confessed, at least I guess he did, about his feelings for Dave, that he loves him, and that he doesn't have any other, that he doesn't have any feelings for anybody else like it. Well, maybe for Toby, he admitted. So, wonder how that's gonna work out. I mean, he wants Dave. He wants to be with, kind of like a dating with Dave, but he also is thinking about doing it with Toby also, and the two of them coming together, for a threesome, I guess. Knowing Toby, he may not want to share Max with anybody else. I don't think he wants to share Max with somebody else. I think he's very much somebody who wants Max himself. He wants Max himself, and if you remember during the I forgot what it's called, but the games, or this big tournament they had earlier in the story, and Toby tried to convince Dave not to be in a relationship with Max. So if y'all remember that back earlier in the story, when I had that tournament right before the plague attacked. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Like, yeah, he was trying to convince Dave not to be in a relationship with Max. Try to distance him from Max so he can have Max for himself. So I wonder how that's gonna work out. But anyway, I'm glad that Max is showing his true feelings for Dave. So and we were in that Bison's store buying the equipment. I actually bought more equipment. So I mean, it doesn't show that I bought more stuff, but because I decided to go back later on and buy more stuff, for Dave to have. But that's what I did. But originally I thought I didn't really need to buy that much stuff, but after thinking, he's gonna need it because it's gonna be in battles ahead. So I decided to go back and buy more, but I didn't record that part where I actually decided to go back and buy more stuff. So, but there's certainly more stuff for Dave now that I bought for him. All right, so apparently Ray gave Max some not so good advice. I mean, it's good to kiss somebody you love, but it's something that you gotta do some other things first. Like that's like what Dave said. You gotta do other things first before you get to that moment where you have to kiss somebody. Just spend some time out with them and get to know each other and gain each other's trust more. So yeah, it's certainly a big change from how Max was with Dave in the beginning. Like he just didn't want anything to do with Dave really. He was very suspicious. Like he thought that Dave didn't have what it looked. He thought Dave didn't have what it took to be the hero, this prophesized hero that Elisa was talking about. I guess it was on appearance, Dave's appearance. Like he was this little young guy, and I don't know. I guess Max did it based on appearance of Dave. So I don't know if there's anything else that factored into that, but that's what I thought. So yeah. So that was Max's update. I don't know who's up next because they don't really rotate them on the characters. Basically, they do some polls on the Patreon and people decide which character they want to see next. So it could be anybody. So whenever a new update of Heroes Advent comes out, I'll have a video out for that. So thank you all very much for watching. Goodbye.